It was a punch in the gut. Deep into injury time, 2 goals killed Aberdeen's chances of getting their first points away from Pittodrie in the league this season. A dreadful mistake by Dimitar Mitov and a questionable penalty deep into injury time. It means this: after Rangers narrowly beat Livingston, that Aberdeen remain bottom of the league, still without a league victory this season, still without a goal, and we are only on 1 point, and we're now 4 points adrift of Falkirk and Livingston. Hi everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg AB TV this Sunday night, the day after we lost another league game. But this is what I will say. It was, and I'm sure you'll agree, it was an improved performance. Delighted to see a different setup, which I thought, up to a point, gave us good balance. I thought we started the game very brightly, on the front foot. On another day, Kevin Nisbet scores that header after 40 seconds. But, again, decision making, lack of confidence killed us in the end. And you can't legislate for that type of mistake from the goalkeeper, who I think, personally, has been absolutely fantastic this season and has stopped many a game from being a cricket score. So I don't blame Dimitar Mitov at all. It's just one of those things. Was it a penalty? It's questionable. The boy goes down. But if that was on the other end, we'd be screaming for a penalty. So for me, it was a penalty. But look, there were lots of signs of encouragement, which makes me think this, that Jimmy has only had so much time to work with the players that have come in the summer transfer window. He needs time to get these players bedded in. But I'm only willing, as it stands, to give him the Shakhtar game and to give him the Dundee game, because this just simply can't carry on. There has to come an end point, unless he gets a victory against Shakhtar, and unless he gets a victory against Dundee, and we start to see light at the end of the tunnel, then I'd be okay. But if we come away with nothing from Thursday, and more importantly, nothing against Dundee, then I think, for me personally, time's up. Then that gives us the international break to sort ourselves out. But this just can't carry on, I'm afraid. The decision making. There were some baffling substitutions yesterday again, I thought, which made us lose some balance. I was a little bit surprised Gyamfi got taken off. I thought he did okay yesterday. I like his strength. I like his urgency to get forward. And I like his urgency to get a ball into the box. I did see quite a few negative comments about him, but I don't really see why. I think this lad will be a really decent player for us. Jesper Karlsson needs to learn that this is a team game, I think. That's one thing that I'm starting to notice with him. Just needs to lay the ball off a little bit more. Marko Lazetic is 19 years old, isn't he? And he made a decision yesterday. He has to make a split-second decision. And unfortunately, he took the wrong one. There was a chip on, or there was a ball square. And unfortunately, he took the wrong decision. The ball goes wide. They go up the pitch and score the luckiest of goals. Football has one hell of a way of absolutely kicking you in the teeth when you're down. Topi Keskinen. Why did you make that decision to shoot when the obvious decision was to square it to Marko Lazetic? You are never going to score from such a tight angle. The only way you're going to score from that sort of angle is by hitting it across the goal. Aren't we taught that from a very young age? It's all about decision making. It's all about fine margins. But there was enough yesterday to suggest that there was more from the players, that the players were more up for it. But still, we cannot score for toffee, and we cannot get a win no matter what. So this cannot carry on. But as I said, I'm willing to give Jimmy the Shakhtar game and the Dundee game, and then let's see what happens after that. It was Jimmy's 60th game in charge of the football club. These are his stats. Won 27, lost 23, drawn 10. Goals against is alarming, 85, and goals for is alarming, only 80 in that time. That's a win percentage of 45%. He made wholesale changes again for the game yesterday. 6 changes to the side. Nicky Devlin came in for his 100th appearance for the football club, as did Jack Milne, as did the skipper, as did Christos Tobas, Adil Ashish and Ante Palaversa. Stuart Armstrong missed out with a slight hamstring strain. Dante Polvara was nowhere to be seen. Let me gently remind you that Ali Beg AB TV is brought to you and supported by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment. But not just that, they offer these services as well: torquing, testing, refurbishment and welding. So if you require any of those services in the UK, in the Middle East, in the Far East, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with the guys at Saltire Energy. Now, unfortunately, Andrew Budge couldn't make it tonight. He has a prior engagement down in Australia, so he's not able to be with us tonight. So what I'm going to do this evening is leave it basically as an open book for you guys to come on and tell me your thoughts after yesterday's game and tell me your continued thoughts about the position of the manager. So we'll leave it as an open book. I've still got a couple of bits and pieces to get through, so we'll get through that first and then I'll bring you guys on. So the match stats, let's take you through it. The possession's not great, is it? 38.6. It's really not great. Shots, 10 equal for both sides, of which we had 4 on target to their 3. Now look at the total passes here. Look at their total passes in compared to ours. Significantly higher by the home side. But then if you look at the forward passes, only 127, which is less than half. And again, Jimmy talked about positive play, positive attacking play. We're still so guilty of a square or backward pass. A very despondent Jimmy spoke to Red TV after the game.
The result, of course, is really, really tough today. I think the energy was back. I think the performance-wise is one of our better games. I also think we go into the game, and then the last part of the game we push also for try to win it, and we have our chances to set up our teammates in really good situations in the end. But right now we are there with sometimes you also need some luck to get out of this situation when you have a bad run. But I can't say the players didn't give everything today. I think the fans feel it also. I feel the energy was back and the connection between the fans and the players were back. I hope the fans can see that the players tried and give much more effort on the pitch today. But in the moment we are right now with this the last decision or their goal is like sometimes you are unlucky and in 93rd minute you get that goal against you, and so of course it's really, really tough in where we are right now, when especially when you do a better performance and maybe didn't deserve to lose today.
May I also gently remind you that here on Ali Beg AB TV, we are supported and sponsored by Craig International, who are at the forefront of global procurement. They offer those services all over the world, from America to the Middle East, on the European continent, down in Australia, where business continues to be really, really good. They're also out in the Far East, and of course, they're at home in Aberdeen. They have a number of experts on hand, ready to take a call or an email from you if you are looking for procurement services. There is nobody better. Get in touch And as usual, if you want, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with them. Okay, so let's open it up and let's see what's going on. Okay, so let me just drag that down. Oh, lots of you on tonight, which is good, Okay, let's go right to the top. Okay. Adam Binney says that we really needed a confidence booster for the Shakhtar game. Dreading that game now. Paul Hannon is on. How are we doing, Paul? We were unlucky at Motherwell. Mitoff mistake and the softest of soft penalties. I think the lads are trying that much. They're scared to make a mistake. Maybe that's why Lazetic never took the shot on. I don't know if you saw the preview show where I had on sports and exercise psychologist Don Vasey. Don is going to be with us on the channel throughout the season. And the topic that we spoke about on Friday was confidence. It was all related to the football club, but not just that, about life in general, how you can take confidence into your work. And it was a very interesting watch about how you build confidence, little things that you can do, little tools that you can give yourself to build confidence. There is a obvious lack of confidence running through the team at the moment, particularly in the final third. And the only way that the lads will lift their confidence is by starting to score goals and to start by winning games. But I think personally, that's got to start behind the scenes. Graham Gibbs says, we made changes. We demonstrated that we learned from the Motherwell game. We changed the shape. We played well. All the things I hoped for, but we still lost. Neil Sinclair says, I only saw the first 15 minutes of the game. They started well and looked intent. Imagine my surprise when I picked up my phone after being out for my dinner. Dearie me, what happened? Paisley Sheep says, I seem to have lost any emotion. Blank stare after that game. I didn't understand both the booing or clapping in the stand. I just stood. Kaiser said, we stood off Motherwell for the whole of the second half. Kaiser, I have to say, I completely agree with you. I thought the substitutions were a little bit baffling for me. I didn't quite get it. I felt that Yimi took away the impetus that we had in the first half. I thought we were moving the ball about well. I thought we were getting the ball down the flanks better. I like Gyamfi playing a little bit forward in that role, giving him sort of a freedom to really go at fullbacks and get the ball across, to link up with Carlson on that side. I liked it, and I felt we lost that dynamic in the second half. Nothing was delivered into the box in the second half. Colin Gale says, I get the impression some fans would be happy to go back to signing out of contract players, only like the market we used to be shopping in. Like, we can't do that, at the moment we have what we have. Simon Roy says that he's dreading Thursday. I think JT needs to play the same team for a period, not all these changes every game. Simon, listen, I think everybody is in agreement that there are far too many chopping and changing of the team. That with 32 players in that squad, it appears he still doesn't know what his best 11 is. And the January transfer window closed, the August transfer window closed weeks ago now. He's had roughly 4 weeks to work with these players in training. He should by now know what is his best starting 11. Will he play that formation against Shakhtar on Thursday? I think he might. Killing John says, unlucky not to get something out of that last night. Killing John says, the substitutions, Clarkson for Shinnie, weren't the greatest, although the defensive injuries meant we had to change formation too. Quite right. Neil Sinclair, look, Neil's been positive. I still believe we are a game away from it clicking and our season starting properly. Bruce Struthers is here. Better formation, better effort, but horrendous decision making by some players. Lazetic chance and Mitoff howler. That's not down to Yimi. Neil Strachan says, last night's embarrassing. Again, it's time for JT to go. David Horn is here wishing you all a good evening. Nicola Beaton says that she was gutted for the team last night. David Drawn makes an interesting point. He says it was shocking that the shove on Adil never went to VAR. Poor decision making cost us 3 points. Could have been a comfortable win. Still don't think JT will be ditched by the Football Monitoring Board yet. Sheep on Fire says, I feel like we've taken a step forward. That was like a slap with a wet fish yesterday, but we were definitely moving forward more and side passing less. A goal will make all the difference. Hewitt Super Sub, loving that name. We were robbed by refereeing, no VAR, looked at Ashish getting brought down in the box. I must admit, I can't believe they didn't look at it. El Fidelo says, why can't we see out games? Continually losing goals in added time. I think that's a mentality thing. You know, when you look at their goal yesterday, again, if you look at the Dundee United, what was it now? The first goal. All those players sort of in and around that 18-yard box, and nobody goes down. Nobody puts a body on the line. That's what disappoints me. Nobody is busting a gut to try and stop a shot on goal or an effort on target or whatever. And yesterday, again, yeah, it takes a horrible deflection. But for me, nobody's busting a gut to stop the shot. And that's a mentality thing. Put your body on the line. Kaiser said there was only one team pushing to win that yesterday in the second half, and it wasn't us. Scott McLeod says, don't know where the goal, let alone a win, is going to come from. Can we try scrapping the inverted wingers? Barry Cool is here wishing you a good evening. He said, same old, same old. Glad he changed the formation and the team improved. I would prefer if he went 2 up top. Oops. Craig94 says, I thought we actually played decent, a lot better than previous performances. Totally unlucky today, if I'm honest. We need to be burying our chances when they come. Kaiser is pleading with me. Ali, please don't go down that route. Talene has had plenty time, no excuses. Kaiser, look, I'm with you. I really, really am with you. But, as I said at the top of the show, fella, I just think there's no point doing it now with a big European game coming up on Thursday and then a quick turnaround for Sunday. We've then got 2 weeks. There was an improvement yesterday. And if we can take those improvements into the game against Shakhtar and into the game against Dundee, you just don't know what's going to happen. You just never know. I'm torn. I must admit, I'm torn because yesterday at full time, my emotions were spinning in my head, and I'm like, all right, just get rid right now. Give us a month to get this all sorted out. Then I started thinking, well, it was better. And yeah, we did play well in parts, and yeah, we got a big game coming up on Thursday. It's going to do us no good to once again get rid of a manager. You know, what would it be? 5 managers in 4 years, something like that. Just, you know, it's just. But I get you, Kaiser. I get you. Sean Simpson said, seemed more effort, but very little quality still. Lose to Dundee and it's over for Yimmy. 8 points behind Dundee, then it's over. Grey Pilgrim said, Mitov had an excellent save early in the game. 3 points against Dundee, no problems. Barry Cole says, and it's an interesting point. He says, beating Dundee won't change anything. That's a good point. Kirstine is there. How are we doing, Kirstine? She says, good evening, Ali and fellow dandies. Looked a bit better yesterday and at least had shots on target, but still a lack of intensity at times. Not enough players looking for the ball, too pedestrian. Simon, I'm totally with you with this. He says they should have done more in pre-season. Lack of games the players required should have been in sooner. Waited till the season started to get Nisbet back. It was a lack of planning. I have to say, Simon, you're absolutely spot on. Okay, I'm going to say something that I might regret, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think, and I've been thinking long and hard about this, that we bathed in the glory of the Scottish Cup for too long. I think we should have enjoyed the Scottish Cup for a week or two and then absolutely got back to work. And our pre-season, I don't care who you are, our pre-season was not good. To only play, 3 games with a mixture of squads, Cove, Ipswich and Fulham. I'm sorry, but that's just not enough. And we came in undercooked and underprepared. And that is down to the people who run the football club. And I can't believe it was allowed to happen. To win the Scottish Cup was absolutely incredible. It was sensational. It gave us an experience that some had never ever had. But we stood still and we bathed in the glory. And we should have kicked on. We should have absolutely kicked on. And we didn't. We stood still. And to allow the team to go in to the season underprepared with last minute summer transfer buys, almost panic buys, you could say, is not good. It's really not good. And unfortunately, I think we're now seeing the repercussions of that. And that goes from the top through to the football department. That's what I'm disappointed about. More than anything, I'm really, really disappointed that we stood still when we absolutely shouldn't have. Northeast Car Collective says, evening dandies, hope everyone's well. Error from Mittoff was just one of those things. He'll be kicking himself for that. He saved us many times this year. Team although improved, but we're still woeful. David John says, until we have a new director of football in place, I don't think the Football Monitoring Board are in any position to fire JT and hire a new boss. Robbie Hanratty. How are we doing, Robbie? Half-time subs were baffling. Summer recruitment and general recruitment under JT proving questionable. Better performance, I agree, but it was Motherwell, not Barcelona we were playing. Bare minimum, to be honest. Robbie makes a great point. Alfidello. You read my mind. I'm afraid the preparation, or rather lack of, in the pre-season is really coming home to roost. Lorraine Baxter's here. Good evening, she says. Like most of us, gutted after last night's match. Can we recall loan players who are all doing unbelievable, aren't they? So Dave B, about the manager, he says, I would give him a full league run through of fixtures, i.e. another 5. I think the poor decisions are made by players bereft of confidence and trying too hard and forcing the issues. Interesting you say that, Dave, because that's what Andrew Budge said as well. He said, I would like to see him get a first round of fixtures. John Helmsley is here. How are we doing, John? He says, I agree with all you say, but I would perhaps give a longer bedding in time. I feel we're not far away. Fine margins, and we're just on the wrong side of getting it right. Robin the Bold said, I'd be happy if we played bad, if we got a win. Rod Cow says, an improvement, but could it be worse? But the worry was we vanished in the second half. I didn't like the effect the subs had, and we never looked like we were going to win it. James Jappy said, watch clips of other sides and we're slowest of them all. Square balls, stop, back back to defenders, can't see us mounting a challenge. It worries me. Yeah. Adam Binney says, if we sack Yimmy, who's next? What's next? Peter Leven gave interim manager again? Or given the job? Gordon Eddy says, strikers aren't good enough. Sokla is better than what we have. Ambrose, Yengi, terrible players. Neil Strachan says, Ali, I totally agree with you. What you just said about Aberdeen bathing in the glory of the Scottish Cup win. Norman Baker also agrees. We've been basking too long in Cup glory and failing to prepare properly for this season. That's down to the manager. Do you know, Norman, I don't think it is. Yes, the manager plays a huge role in that. Because obviously it's up to him as part of the football department to go to a director of football, the board, whoever, to say, this is what I want to do. This is what we want to do. And then it's up to the football administrators to then make that happen. It's also up to the football administrators, a director of football, to come to the manager and say, should we be doing this, this, this and this? Do you want to go away? Yes, they went away to Portugal. So they had some summer training. But there weren't enough games. We needed games. That's what we needed. And our transfer business should have been done an awful lot earlier. Because players were I think we only really started to see some sort of cohesion on Saturday. And it's too late. There's so much wrong about it all. So much wrong. Right. So, next up for the Dons. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing scenes like this one against FCSB back in August. And I'm hoping we see it again on Thursday night. Pittodrie was absolutely buzzing that night. And I really hope we see the same when we welcome Shakhtar Donetsk to Pittodrie on Thursday evening, kick-off at 8 o'clock in the Europa Conference League. I've said it time and time again. There is nothing better than a European tie under the floodlights at Pittodrie. We all know it's going to be one hell of a task against one of the finest teams in Europe. We have to get going. A quick reminder, just before we finish off this evening, that Ali Beg ABTV is also brought to you by Quipco International, who are based in Abu Dhabi. They service the oil and gas industry, manufacturing and repair services, and they also manufacture products as well. So if you are based in that part of the world or in and around the Middle East, and you're looking for these type of products to be manufactured or serviced, there is nobody better than Quipco in the area to be able to do that for you. So please get in touch and I will put you in touch with them. So thank you to all my sponsors as always. Right guys, so indulge me, please. A gentle reminder, if you haven't seen it, that Ali Beg ABTV got shortlisted for Best International Podcast at the Football Content Awards. Many of you have already voted for me, which I'm so grateful for, so thank you. But keep the votes coming in. There is a gold, silver and bronze position up for grabs out of 12 other candidates. Those are the details about how to vote for me. Just go to thefootballcontentawards.com and then just follow those instructions. Don't forget to accept the conditions and then press vote now. I'd be absolutely thrilled if you would please consider it. Right, we'll just finish off with a few more comments and then we'll call it a night. Hugh makes a very interesting point. He says, I don't think Yimmy wanted Kevin Nisbet, but Dave Cormack gave him to Yimmy anyway. Hugh, I think you make a very interesting point because I wondered about this. First and foremost, can I say I'm happy he's here. I'm happy he's here. But if we wanted him, would we not have done everything to get him as soon as the season finished, instead of doing the deal on the Saturday before the transfer window closed? Now that suggests to me, and I'm not trying to play skullduggery here, I'm not throwing mud, but that suggests to me that maybe we didn't want him, and that Hugh is making a very valid point. Tin hat on. Angie's here. How are we doing, Angie? I just don't think things are as black and white as we think. David Trump makes a good point. He says, Mr. Cormack seemed to know more about the Kevin Nisbet deal than Kevin Nisbet did. That's quite right. Neil Sinclair says, look, fingers crossed for a good game on Thursday. Stuart Brook is asking me, what do you think our best formation should be this Thursday night? Well, I have to be honest, I'd be quite happy with the type of formation that we played last night. But you know what? Because it's a home game, I've got a feeling, and it's a horrible feeling, that Yemi will go back to 4-2-3-1 because it's at home. Personally, I would prefer the formation we had yesterday against Motherwell. God knows. Steve Davidson is here. One positive was Lazetic's razor-sharp reaction for the chance. Just the end decision. Needs a start for me. Concerns we don't really look like scoring for 70 plus minutes in a game. Again, I agree. Give him game time. Give him game time. Kaiser says we should be creating at least 5 chances a game for Nisbet. He's lucky if he gets half a chance a game. I, again, completely agree. David Gold says the reasons where we play in the League Cup group stage is when we land up having a good season. It's the early competitive games that sets us up as well. Need a competitive pre-season to be ready. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Spot on. Graham Gibbs says, let's enjoy Thursday. It'll be a while before we see European football at Pittodrie again. Right, guys, we're just coming up to 35 minutes. I'm going to call it a night. So I'm sorry that Andrew couldn't make it tonight. So the plans for the week are, we will be back on Wednesday for a preview ahead of Shakhtar. We will do a review on Friday after Shakhtar. We'll be back on Saturday with a preview of the Dundee game. And then we'll be back for a review on Monday of the Dundee game. We will also have a review of the past few weeks during the international break. And I hope that's all we'll be doing, if you catch my drift. So have a fantastic week. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you so much for coming on. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to like. It's really good for the algorithm, whatever that is. And don't forget to join, subscribe, press, because the numbers and the figures are great and we're building all the time. We're motoring now towards 4,700, which is great because we've only just touched 4,600. So we're already motoring our way towards that. So continue to press subscribe. You're not paying for anything. You're just following, like on social media. So take good care of yourselves. I'll see you on Wednesday for the preview show ahead of Shakhtar. Stand free.